All right, everybody, welcome back to Q&A live stream number 84 continued. This is a previous Q&A live stream that was taking place a little bit earlier on, probably just under an hour ago. But this is the continuation of Q&A live stream number 84. So earlier we left off on some topics regarding some nearby shopping malls in a lot of trouble of becoming dead malls. So we're going to give people a couple of seconds to join, and like I said, we will be getting started on the discussion very shortly. And yeah, so it's the G-Man. How are you? Hello again. So yeah, guys, we are back now. No more interruptions this time. We're going to go for about an hour, I think, and then we're going to end the live stream because unfortunately I do have classes tomorrow and it's like first thing in the morning. So yeah. So anyways, so we'll start off with you guys. I don't have that much to talk about other than L&T is beginning the end of their liquidations. They're going to be done by December. Century 21 should be done in about 3 weeks. And that's it for those two iconic retailers. I hear Sears is cooking up another round of closings at some point. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. Pet Value is going out of business. Pier 1 is now online. By the way, Lord & Taylor, after December 1st, will be exclusively online. So no more going in-store shopping for Lord & Taylor. It's all going to be on the web. So farewell to any iconic Lord & Taylor locations by December of 2020. And I've gotten to the majority of them in my state. I've gotten to a couple in New York. I'm working on getting to the final one in New Jersey. It's a little bit tricky to get to that one because number one, it's the only freestanding one in the state, and number two, it's not really like at a mall destination. No, they're not. They're both East Coast-based companies, but Lord & Taylor does have two locations in Pennsylvania, Bala Kinwood and King of Prussia. But yeah, no, Century 21, no, they're not. The only C21 in Pennsylvania is City Center, Philadelphia. But that's all the way on the other side of Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh is the west side. Yeah, you got Pittsburgh on the west side, Harrisburg in the middle, and then you got Philadelphia in the east. And then you got a bunch of country roads between those three major cities. Harrisburg is the capital, and Pittsburgh is the second largest city, and Philadelphia is the largest city. I mean, King of Prussia is the largest mall, so that could kind of give you a clue of how close the mall is to the actual city. Don't know when the pandemic is going to end in New Jersey. It's a big old question mark, but I would say by and this is just being optimistic, fall 2021 would be, I think, is when this whole thing is going to be put to rest. But this year has really had some ups and downs. But I really miss Lord & Taylor in Tyson's Corner Center. Yeah, I think that closed last year, I believe. I think they're closing a couple more in Virginia. Jersey, we're losing all Lord & Taylors. Jersey, we got 9, and I've been to about 8. So the remaining one that's not connected to a mall that's in New Jersey is my last and final one. I have no plans to go to Cross County, and Ridge Hill, and I have no plans for Scarsdale right now. That could change in the next 3 weeks, but I'm most likely not going to see it. Plus, one of my friends already got a pretty decent documentary of that story, and I'm very grateful that I was able to put that up for you guys. So, yeah. Hi, TCG Scorch. How are you? But I don't have to get off this time, guys, which is exciting. Let me actually go ahead and move my computer a little bit. You guys can see my face a little bit better. So I do expect some new warrant notices coming out this week. Like I said, right now, I'm not going to make any official videos about Sears until it's official and it's on their website. So expect something maybe tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on when that information does become available. Macy's at Ross Park Mall is from 1980 as a Westinghouse. Yeah, a lot of those Macy's from that era have the Westinghouse, and I bet it has like the atrium in the middle. Because typically those Macy's, yeah, those were the last, I think, 3-story. Well, actually, no. I think one of the last 3-story Macy's ever built, I think, was in the Bronx. But there was also the 1995 ones where it was with Schindler. I bet that Macy's is very similar to Bridgewater and Hamilton Mall with the atrium in the middle. Oh, no. Actually, yeah, no. Was that must have been another store. Well, it's definitely a 3-level Macy's just by looking at the building. Yeah, this is the second largest successful mall outside of what's it called? King of Prussia. This is an interesting mall, Ross Park Mall. It's like it's the next best thing after King of Prussia. Oh, and it does have a generic Nordstrom. Looks similar to Christiana Mall in Cherry Hill. You got J.C. Penney, and then of course Sears is abandoned, and that's all thanks to our lovely guy named Mr. Eddie Lambert. Oh, Kaufman's. Oh, that makes sense. I could tell by the building's design that it was a Kaufman's at one point. Oh, I've seen the picture too. And as a matter of fact, I just learned a couple days ago that Sears in Garden City is now expected to become a hospital for NYU. Let me actually get the correct. Okay, yeah, NYU is expected to be building a medical center in the former Sears site, which honestly makes total sense. Think about it. The parking is already there. The amount of building space I think is great, so I think it's there. But yeah, the best mall I've been to is Westfield Garden State Plaza, over 350 stores. Look, if I compare the two, it really depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for an upscale experience, I recommend Short Hills. If you're looking for a place that has something for everybody, I recommend Westfield Garden State Plaza. Look, Westfield Garden State Plaza is, what's it called? It gets the job done. It's not my favorite destination. I kind of like it. I think it is cool at times, but I've known the mall pretty much my whole life, so I like to see other centers. I would say it's probably my third favorite in the state. Number 2 being American Dream, and number 1 being Short Hills. Short Hills, hands down, is one of the nicest malls I've been to, actually. Yeah, they're probably going to do more office space related in former department stores. That's a very good point to make, Dylan D. Jesus. Hi, Scott. How are you? Mine's Woodbridge Center. I like Woodbridge Center too. The problem is there's not a lot of choices with department stores now. Considering Sears and the A&S is now abandoned, the Lord & Taylor is now abandoned. You only really have Macy's, J.C. Penney, Dick's, and Boscov's. It's a good mall, don't get me wrong, but I really have no desire to go down there again, especially considering now there was Lord & Taylor, and especially now considering that Lord & Taylor and Sears are out. Yeah, definitely an underperforming malls for medical centers, and because it brings more traffic to the actual mall. Because say someone's having an appointment at the clinical place and they're going to want somewhere to get lunch after, well, they could walk through the mall and go to, say, the food court. I think that's the whole idea, which would make sense, honestly. Mall at Turtle Crossing. Turtle. Oh, it is a Tallman Center. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's an interesting. Oh yeah, yeah. You got the big old Turtle Crossing. It's not owned by Taubman Centers anymore, sadly. It's owned by Simon Property Group. Of course, Simon would gobble up the small figures. I'm sure they cannot wait to ruin the Taubman design. I don't think the mall has an apple, but it is owned by Simon Property Group now. It looks like. I wonder what this store used to be. Scene 75 Entertainment Center. Not sure what that is. Yeah, it was definitely owned. It was definitely developed by Taubman. Simon owns it now. Lazarus, Marshall Fields, and J.C. Penney. Macy's closed. Current are Macy's, J.C. Penney, and Scene 75 Entertainment, which I don't know what that is. Saks in Garden City. I think it used to be on where Lord and Taylor was in Garden City, I believe. Have you been to Palisade Center? Yeah, I've been to Palisade Center. It's not one of my favorite malls. No, I prefer Short Hills personally. I love Short Hills. I don't know why. It's just the design, the architecture. I think the good choice of really good choice of stores, good choice of elevators too. Personally, it's one of my favorite malls actually in the state. My favorite mall is Roosevelt Field. Roosevelt Field's like a downscale version of what the shops at Riverside is. That's what I see Roosevelt Field as, but I could also compare it to Westfield Garden State Plaza due to the size. I love the 1970s GGP Rouse architecture. Yeah, that was another unique thing. Not as unique though as Taubman. Taubman just went in a little bit more than Rouse. That's not to say that GGP Rouse didn't do a good job with designing shopping malls. It's just Taubman put a little bit more character into their properties than say something as a GGP Rouse would. Yeah, it was sold. Your thoughts on Westfield World Trade Center Mall? It's probably Westfield's best performing mall in the entire New York State. Number 2 being Westfield South Shore, which is located out on Long Island, and Sunrise at this point, I think Westfield's just going to get rid of. But Westfield World Trade Center is very nice. Comparing the two, they're both owned by the same property group, but they're both very different center concepts. Westfield Garden State Plaza is a more traditional shopping mall with traditional department store anchors, and Westfield World Trade Center is pretty much like any New York City mall where it's just a structure that's stuffed in with a couple of stores. That's not to say that's something compared to Queens Center, but you get the idea. It's a little shopping area within Lower Manhattan that has a lot of security and that is owned by none other than the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, which I don't know. I'm not too fond of their whole anti-photography thing, but I guess they're trying to protect people. I don't want to get into that. But anyways. I'm trying to buy a phone at Apple. Oh my God, the line is long. If you went on a Sunday, I'm not surprised. You're better off going during the week. I believe Turtle is one of the most successful malls in Ohio besides Kenwood, Polaris, and Easton. Well, that would make sense if it's the whole thing. Yeah, I guess that would make sense because Kenwood's pretty nice too, I hear, because I think it's near downtown Cincinnati, which makes sense. Simon Management ruins some of their malls, Smith Haven. No, look, Smith Haven has a purpose. It's the second most powerful mall in Suffolk County. It still has a Macy's. It has the Cheesecake Factory, California Pizza Kitchen, and it has Dick's and Barnes and Noble. It's still a pretty powerful center. What is the most dangerous mall in New Jersey? My vote is the Mills at Jersey Gardens. You're probably right. I could say, I'm trying to think. What would be the most dangerous? Yeah, probably the Mills at Jersey Gardens, just because of that area. It's kind of sketchy, rather so. Yeah, you probably are. I would, if I had to do Walt Whitman or Smith Haven, I would do Walt Whitman. The shops at Nanuet. Yeah, shops at Nanuet is in deep crap. They don't have a Macy's, they don't have a Sears, they don't even have a supermarket to speak of. They lost restaurants and several tenants. High elevator guy, 8484. Yeah, Kenwood's pretty nice. I think so. Yeah, the Kenwood Set Town Center in the Kenwood Collection. Oh yeah, no, yeah, this is a really nice area, and it's literally just outside of Cincinnati, which is a powerful city. Oh yeah, no, you got a Nordstrom, you got a Dillard's, you got. I'm not sure what this other store is. This could be the Macy's. Yeah, this might be a Macy's. Let's see. Looks like it's some kind of store. Yeah, it looks like it's a Macy's. But yep, yeah, Macy's. Is it a particular? No, just Macy's. Yeah, this is a pretty good mall too, and I think there's a Saks Fifth Avenue across the way. I believe located in the Kenwood Collection, if I'm correct, or that could be the off Fifth. I'm not 100% sure, or maybe it's. Oh yeah, the Kenwood Collection is beautiful. Wow, very nice. Oh, they permanently closed it? Wow. They did close it. Of course they did. Figures. Well, they did have one there at one point at least. Oh, me too. Oh, it never did. Oh, well, that's a shame. The Macy's at Kenwood is one of the top. Oh, it does numbers. Yeah, maybe it's one of those stores that does numbers due to the fact of it being close to a metropolitan area, which makes a lot of sense. Is Ocean County Mall in good shape or is it dying? Ocean County Mall, and I hate to say this, is in a lot better shape than Freehold. The reason Simon Property Group acted quick and they redeveloped the former Sears space. Freehold is in a tough situation right now where it has lost three different anchors: Sears, Nordstrom, and it's about to lose Lord and Taylor by the beginning of next month. No, the most dangerous mall in Long Island. That's up for debate. I'm going to say Green Acres is probably a lot more dangerous than Roosevelt Field due to the fact that it's just outside of Queens. Robots patrolling malls. Cool, but I wish they weren't there. Yeah, I guess they're trying to save on security guards walking around. Oh, cool. That's cool, I guess. Green Acres. Yeah, hands down. That mall is just unsafe. It is an unsafe mall. Hicksville. That's the company. Cherry Hill Mall will most likely get sold. Interesting. Probably an underperforming store. Oh, you went into a mall and got on a service car? That's cool. No, Freehold was a destination. That mall's a destination. Be right back, guys. Hi, Ultra. How are you? I'm not ignoring you. I just there's a whole bunch of questions coming in the chat, and I'm trying to make sure I read everybody's question. No, I've had no desire to go to the mall at the source. A waste of time. Absolute waste of time. Cherry Hill Mall's not going away. The reason, here's the thing. Cherry Hill Mall's a very high performing mall. And let me put it this way. Another property group will pick it up. That's why. They did. They owned Broadway, Green Acres, and Bergen Town Center. They sold Green Acres to Make Eric. They sold, Broadway to the same people who own the gallery at White Plains, another dying structure. And Bergen Town became part of Urban Edge because it was such a high performing mall. Yeah, Simon will most likely buy Cherry Hill. That because you know what, that gives them a bigger presence in the Philadelphia area, and they can make the claim that they own like two of the best centers within the Philadelphia area. Simon will absolutely pick up Cherry Hill. Are you kidding me? And it's a way for them to expand their property portfolio in New Jersey. So they will absolutely pick up that mall. It is such a high grossing mall in New Jersey. It's probably the highest grossing mall in southern New Jersey. Well, number one, it's the Philadelphia market, and I am 100% sure that Simon is going to buy Cherry Hill, considering, and this is what I'm going to consider. Westfield right now is kind of in the red, and Simon right now with them buying all this stuff, especially since the Simon and Taubman merger didn't go through, this would be an excellent way for Simon to grow their portfolio malls. They would even pick up Willow Grove Park, and they could make the claim that they own most of the centers in the Philadelphia area, which would add on to their outlets, and they would have regular price shopping malls. So I think that could be a more interesting merger than say something as like a Brookfield. Although it wouldn't be bad for Brookfield too to buy them, but I think Simon has a little bit more strength than Brookfield. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I think Simon in Pennsylvania Real Estate's investment trust, they're going to get the high performing malls, and then whatever the low performing malls are going to be, they're going to be sold to different owners. I think that's how it's going to go, honestly. Because yeah, I think so. And Simon might buy any other high-performing Pennsylvania real estate investment trust properties, which I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're sure of. I just know that they're really proud of Cherry Hill, but that gives Simon a great way to expand their property portfolio in New Jersey. So we'll see what happens, though. Anything could happen at that point. The Manahawkin Township Municipal Building has an Otis Series 1 elevator, 988 floor buttons that was installed in 1982. Interesting. Have you heard of 80 Scenic Drive in Freehold Township, New Jersey? There's a beautiful early Otis Series 1 there from 1984. Interesting. Like I said, I was really just down there to see Nordstrom, but if I do make a dedicated trip to Freehold, I'll let you know. Have you been to the Malls of America in Minnesota? No, I have not. It's one of the malls I would like to visit down the road. I used to go to Broadway just for IKEA, and I don't go anymore. Well, that makes sense. It's not even that great of a mall. Yeah, Simon will definitely not buy Moorestown Mall at this point. It doesn't have a Sears, doesn't have a Lord and Taylor. That'll probably be sold to some other developer. I prefer Brookfield bought Willow Grove Park. I don't know if Brookfield has the strength and the portfolio of properties. That's the problem. It's quite possible, yes, but I think Simon could definitely bring a much bigger offer to the table than Brookfield. They also have a lot more properties than Brookfield across the country. So I think Simon could really bring some strength and expand their East Coast presence. That's what I just see it as. I don't know. So maybe someone could say they could say it in a different way, but that's how I see it at least. Yes, I knew about that. Who else remembers when General Growth filed for bankruptcy in 2008 but thrived when they became Brookfield in 2019? Yes, I do remember that. I do remember when they filed for bankruptcy in '08 during the recession, and then they merged a couple years later. Broadway Commons is just in a bad, awful area. That's the problem. I believe so. I'm not sure though. No, Sunrise isn't ghetto. Sunrise is in an area where there's a lot of money. Broadway is in the middle of the island where it's not a great area from what I've heard or from what I've read online at least. And that Macy's in Broadway Commons, that was a low performer for years. The reason why they kept that, it was supposed to close in 2019, believe it or not. However, they needed to pay off some debt from a renovation on the basement due to the basement in that mall flooding. And once they paid off the debt, they got the green light to close the location, which I'm glad I got to when I did. Oh, well, that makes sense. If New Jersey legalizes weed, then would you be against weed at shops at the mall? Listen, I don't like to get political here, but the majority of New Jersey did say yes to legalizing marijuana. I think it's great revenue for the malls. The question is, which malls is that going to fit in? I don't think it's going to be in upscale malls because it won't fit with the clientele, but I could see marijuana shops popping up in much lower scale malls where they're going to do numbers. So I don't think in upper scale malls, no. That would just be because then that would ruin the clientele and the demographic of the shoppers shopping at that particular mall. Um, that'll be in much lower scale malls. Like they'll put one in Willowbrook just because of the demographic. They'll probably put one in Livingston. I could see that definitely. Rockaway, maybe not. Maybe I don't know. What's it called? What's another one that they could do? One Hamilton Mall, just because of the demographic in that area. Deptford Mall, definitely. Quaker Bridge, yeah, because it's close enough to Trenton, and maybe Rockaway, yeah. Hi, Estrella Garcia, how are you? Yeah, that's crazy. Hi, Elevators Rock On, how are you? Kind of figured that. Lucky you guys. Have you ever watched Bright Sun Film series Abandoned, Bankrupt, or Canceled, which very often covers retail? Yes. Listen, you're talking to the right guy who's subscribed to that channel. Of course, I've seen Bright Sun Films. As a matter of fact, he published a beautiful production just a couple days, just 2 days ago. Believe it or not, it was on Epcot something. Epcot's Wonders of Life. That was it. Raw and Retail, heard of it. Oh my God, yeah. Dan Bell, anyone? Yep, I've heard of Dan Bell. Yeah, he unfortunately got in some serious trouble for going to Rolling Acres. The cops caught him, and they brought like a canine dog. Crazy shit. Sorry to use language, but yeah. I want to go to Westfield Trumbull too. What is Fieldhouse and Jimmy Jazz? No, I don't know. Jake Williams does a great job with those series. Of course he does. And I'm not the first to say that. He does an absolutely beautiful job. Like Like as I'm speaking right now, he's probably getting together for a video that's going to come out in 2 weeks, and that's smart too. Honestly, like he does a new episode every 2 weeks because look at how much abandoned stuff he could talk about. Shit, he could write a book if he really wanted to. I don't even know. Guys, let me know if he has a book out. I would love to read if he like put a book out about retail, he'd be making a killing, an absolute killing. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Papyrus. Yeah, Jay, yeah, he did. That was another great episode. I want him to do Lord and Taylor. I badly want him to do Lord and Taylor. I think that'll be a great episode for him to do next because it's such an iconic retailer and it has such a good and his video would be his channel is perfect. It is absolutely perfect because he could list all the history of Lord and Taylor. I want that. That's the next video I want. Oh my god, that is the next abandoned video I want from him. Tell me what you guys think. Abandoned Lord and Taylor. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Oh, I am very optimistic that he will do it. And if he does it next week, I will be so freaking happy. But he's probably going to wait till after they close. Hi, Joe. How are you, man? Newport Center Mall will have Weech. Oh yeah, no. I absolutely think that it will have a marijuana shop. Considering it's in an urban area, that's a money-making shop. Absolutely, they will go into Newport Center Mall. I forgot to mention that. And the Mills of Jersey Gardens, they will. I definitely think they're going to go there too. They might do a pot shop even at American Dream. I mean, if it's legal, right? Yeah, I think they might, considering that the area and the demographic in that area. I think they could pull it off. They could pull off a marijuana shop there, I think, too. Does anyone feel surprised that CV9120 is back? I'm not surprised. I knew he was going to come back eventually. It just took time, that's all. Caldor, yes. Century 21 too. Not really. Century, I mean, yeah, but I think to really capture the audience and really seal the deal for an iconic department store chain, he needs to do Lord and Taylor more so. I think Century 21 will trickle a couple of years down the road. But I think an iconic one for him to do is Lord and Taylor right now. That's the one that he needs to do. Boscov should come to Sunrise and South Shore. South Shore doesn't, well, actually, no, they do have a vacancy. What am I saying? I don't think South Shore right now. I think right now they need to go to Smith Haven. Sunrise is done, but Smith Haven could very well get one. I heard. Yep, he's back. Jake already did Sears. He not only did he do Sears United States, he also did Sears Canada. So no, he already did Sears, and I believe he did Kmart too, if I'm not mistaken. But he definitely needs to do Lord and Taylor. That one is definitely next. Have you been to the Dreamworks water park yet? Nope, but one of my friends has been. I have a great mall store idea. Black Lives Matter clothing store and museums and restaurants. There's a lot of that on the internet, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Century 21 is going out. Yeah, I almost bought a pair of sneakers from them, but like, nah, I want Nikes because Nikes are my favorite. But yeah, Century 21 is pretty much at the end of their liquidation at this point. They're going to be finished before Thanksgiving. And then Lord and Taylor is going to be done by the end of this month, beginning of this month. They're all going to close. They could also very well be around during the holidays too, and they could just pull the plug Christmas Eve. Wouldn't that be something iconic? But they won't be around in 2021, that's for sure. So it's sad to see them go, honestly. It is, but Jovi Elevator 32119. Nike what? Just like Nike sneakers. I prefer Nike sneakers over the other generic ones. I don't know. I just the build quality on them is better. You know, I'm not going for like an Air Jordan. I'm going for like a basic, Nike sneaker. As long as it has the Nike labeling and the Nike quality, that's the kind of sneaker that I like. But I do need a new pair down the road. I don't know. I was looking around, I think Friday, and then my weekend just got really busy. So I don't know. Maybe for Christmas I'll get a new pair of sneakers. I heard about that too, and I'm not surprised because you know what? With Lord and Taylor being an online retailer, it does keep the Lord and Taylor legacy alive, which is um, definitely definitely a good thing because it does keep a legacy alive from the comfort of your home. Doesn't Nike stores have elevators? Only in New York City. I have never seen a nut. Well, if unless it's in a different, only in like urban metropolitan areas. Not all Nike stores have elevators because we have a Nike outlet in Paramus, and I think there's another one in Elizabeth. Kohl's. That's where I got mine. Payless. That could be an interesting one too, but more so Lord and Taylor. That would just be a better episode for him. Pier One had a really interesting history, and I really liked that one that he did. Oh, I have no doubt. Any Kohl's with elevators in New Jersey, Newport Center, Paramus Place Mall, and one in Elizabeth, which isn't even connected to a mall. Have you been to East Meadow, New York? Nope. Sears will definitely be folding in 2021. Yeah. And I think it could even, well, actually, no, it won't be sooner at this point. It'll be next year at this point. It's amazing of how Eddie Lampert was able to keep the stores alive. But his tower is falling down like a unstable deck of cards, unfortunately, one by one, or like a Jenga tower at this point, and that Jenga tower is about to fall, and that's the end of Sears and Kmart, guys. As much as I hate to say that, but it's the uh, truth behind the brands. Can you do an Eddie Lampert rant? Let's save that for a little bit later in the week. We'll save that for when he's ready to. I think this week is gonna. I think this week is gonna be an interesting. I'm going to make a prediction now, and most of the time when I do these predictions, something big happens. Um, I believe that there is going to be a huge announcement for Sears and Kmart this week. Considering what I've seen on jobs.sears.com, something big with that company is going to be happening this week. Whether it's small or big, something will happen this week in regards to announcements. Alex Trebek passed away. Yes, I heard about that. The first thing when I heard about, one of my friends sent me a text message this afternoon. I'm like, oh man, not Alex Trebek. Man, that's a shame. And I loved his Jeopardy shows. When watching Jeopardy, like when obviously post COVID, when things get back to normal, when we have a vaccine, when we don't have to wear the masks anymore, Jeopardy is going to be very, very different, and it's not going to be the same. Hopefully they can get a host very much like Alex Trebek. But wow, Jeopardy won't be the same. That's for sure. Yeah. So, anyways, do you think Express will survive or go bankrupt? Depends on the COVID situation. It really, yeah, Express's survival is really going to depend on the COVID situation. I just have to use the bathroom again, guys. Wow, there's a lot of you watching. Do you think Express will survive or go bankrupt in 2021? It's a new era. Sears in Jersey City is closing this December. I think it's supposed to be closing next year. But then again, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But you know what? Green Acres, the area around the mall is fine. It's not like it's a dying like center. Still has a Walmart, still has a Target, still has a BJ's. Green Acres is losing a lot of stores. Kohl's, JCPenney, and Century. That was a shit JCPenney at Green Acres. I'm glad that that one closed over in Bayshore. Although that closure for that JCPenney was announced pre-COVID, like right before COVID hit. But yeah. Only the Target in Riverdale, and that's literally just an elevator that takes you from the parking up to the actual store. I was gonna do it, but then I was like, I was in that area actually a couple weeks ago. I was gonna do it, but I'm like, I kind of want to do something a little bit different. I wanted to see the Burlington of Burlington. Man, last time I'll be going there for an elevator. They freaking ruined the Burlington at the Burlington. Cheap, very cheap Otis mod, and it looked like that they were the lowest bidder. But what a shame. And I was very upset by that modernization. Like, if you're gonna do a modernization, my God, do it right. This was just literally let's replace the panel, let's replace the motor, and let's just call it a day. No, if you're gonna do a modernization, at least have the decency to redo the cab. No, this was just let's just throw something together and call it a day. Well, it tells you how much they care about that location, and I'm sure they favor the Willowbrook location over the one in Wayne, which totally makes sense. They pour more money into the one near Willowbrook versus the one in Wayne. Same thing with Paramus. You can see which location they're favoritizing. They more so are going to pour money into the one at Bergen Town Center versus say the one on Paramus on Route 17 South, which that one is just as crappy as Wayne. Yeah, no, cheap modernization, cheap Otis modernization. Like, let's just put the panel in, let's just replace the motor. But yeah, that elevator definitely needed a better modernization. But oh well, what can you do? Yeah, I was very upset to see it. And I'm glad I went when I went. Yeah, that was a very crappy Kohl's from what I can remember. Do you know what's going to replace any of the three anchors recently shut down at Woodbridge Center? Three anchors. Woodbridge Center lost two anchors. And the answer to that, probably apartments or fulfillment centers, depending on how they reuse the space. But I don't see I don't see the spaces, given the COVID situation, being filled up anytime soon. Same would go for Livingston, and same goes for Rockaway and Quaker Bridge, and any other mall that you can think of that has more than one anchor vacancy. Garden State though will replace it quick. The reason Paramus is prime real estate, and I'm sure they're more than happy. Well, they'll definitely reconfigure that Lord and Taylor building. I doubt that building is going to stay the way that it is. The Westfield location, unfortunately, is going to be seeing the wrecking ball. As much as I hate to say that, it's unfortunately going to be seeing the same fate as Kmart and Elmwood Park did. But from what I hear, developers are more than thrilled that this iconic building from the year of 1963 is going out of business. But anyways. Yeah, Sears and Lord and Taylor. Sears used to be A&S though, believe it or not, and then A&S went out in '95, and Guess what? Sears got a second location in Middlesex County. Their original location in Middlesex County was located on Route 1, but they had two stores. They had Woodbridge Center, and they also had New Brunswick, which I've been to both, actually. I didn't like the New Brunswick one that much. New Brunswick was very similar to what Watchung was like in Hicksville. Very similar layout. Do you know when all of the Sears Auto Centers are closing? From what I hear, it's the end of the year, but there hasn't been an official public link about it. But I do believe by the end of the year, all of the Sears Auto Centers are closing. If they haven't closed already, they're in the process of liquidating. But at this point, you got Advanced Auto Parts, you got AutoZone, you got Pep Boys. Too much competition for them. And at this point, let's just put the nail in the coffin. I mean, Sears was already going downhill, and they were sinking really fast. And finally, you now have the global pandemic, which has really accelerated the end. And the end is coming soon for them. They're going to meet their fate probably within less than 6 months. I mean, they don't even have any more stores left. And even with the number of stores they have left, there's no future there at Sears. Eddie Lampert destroyed the company when he took it over. That's the bottom line. Bottom line is, yeah, that was a bad and underperforming JCPenney. Yeah, it was an A&S, and then it became Sears. Same thing with Short Hills. Yes, A&S turned to Macy's in 1995, and that's why the Morristown location closed. Did you hear that Alex Trebek died? Yes, this is now the second person that sent that. Yes, very sad to see Alex Trebek die. Iconic Jeopardy host, and now people in the New York metropolitan area won't be able to hear a brand new episode of Alex Trebek's voice at 7 p.m. at night after a long day of work or school. It's a tradition that I sadly won't be able to, commemorate anymore. Not commemorate. That's the wrong terminology. Won't be able. It's not going to be traditional anymore, unfortunately. Interesting. Sunrise is sinking. I think Broadway Commons is sinking faster, minus the success of the IKEA and the Target. And IKEA could very well relocate too on Long Island. I think, in my opinion, what would be smart is knock down the entire Green Acres Mall. Or not, sorry, not Green Acres. F. If you knock down the entire, and I'll put this blatantly, if you knock down the entire mall at the Source, you would get a perfect opportunity for a big IKEA, and pretty close to Roosevelt Field too. It's the perfect spot for their relocation if they decide to leave Broadway Commons. So, yes, Pet Value. Heard about them. The whole company's going under. Well, you know what? You had other pet stores, and then of course you have the two big ones, Petco and PetSmart. And Pet Value was a much smaller store. I have one, I think the next town over, but I've never been inside. I've just had no need. And plus, most of the food I would get for my pets typically is at ShopRite. So, I mean, No, that was two floors. There was a JCPenney, and they had a basement. But I mean, but that was such a shitty and underperforming store. Or they can go where Sears was in Hicksville. True, but I believe there's different plans for that property, from what I hear. So, you have to shave at some point, guys. I understand. All right. No, Monmouth is not dead. Still has a Macy's, still has a JCPenney, still has a Boscov's. In fact, has a Crate and Barrel outlet and a couple of other stores along the way. No, Freehold is in a much tougher position right now than Monmouth, and I feel like Monmouth is going to be the better mall too. What is the mall at the Source now? It's now a furniture store with maybe two tenants, like Dave & Buster's, which hasn't been able to open up thanks to certain politician. the Cheesecake Factory, and I think that's it. There's not really much else over there. Cheesecake Factory, though, really should move to Roosevelt Field at this point, or an outer Purcell next to Maggiano's Little Italy. But only time will tell with that property in particular. But I could see Cheesecake Factory moving to Roosevelt Field. Absolutely, I could see them moving there. So, anyways, but I believe so, which I'm not surprised. So, all right, guys. So I think we're going to go ahead and end the live stream for tonight. I've had a not really long day. I've actually been inside all day today. I just needed a break, but all right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and end the live stream here. I hope everybody had a great time on this live stream tonight. Will, you should have another one towards the end of the week, depending on how things go, and I'll keep you guys posted. So, anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. Yes, I know that he's back. So, anyways, guys, thank you again for watching Q&A live stream number 84, and we'll see you guys next time. That's it.